When shadows fall and spirits howl, zombies stalk and madmen prowl, monsters lurk and victims shiver. Thrills and chills they will deliver. Arise from your graves and get in the mood. It's time to join the spooky dudes.
It did it again. It played the music. It had a picture. There we are. Hello.
It did.
Oh, there's the
Hello.
camera. Hi. Welcome back. It's
Thanks.
episode 18. Did you know you were going to be episode 18?
I did not know that.
It feels
No.
special. You can vote and buy tobacco or what else. You can do other things at 18, I'm sure.
Solid year. Graduate high school.
There you go. I think I graduated in 2000. So
That's the year I was born. That's crazy. Sorry. Off to a bad start.
just taking the wind right out of my sails. No, it's all good. Hey, everybody. Spooky Dudes back again. And tonight I have a special guest, Autumn Cazier.
Yes.
I almost botched it. Got real close. Cazier. I even wrote Cazier like laser.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that before.
Phonetics. They help the us old slow guys.
Mm.
So Autumn is first off, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I looking forward to this. I just got back in town the other day and I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Well, like I was saying before, it's pretty, there's no quiz or anything like so we're just going to have a cool conversation and hopefully get some we may even get some questions from the chat. Sometimes they're chatty, sometimes they're non-existent. So we'll see, but it's going to be fun anyway. So for those of you who don't know, Autumn is the writer, director, actor, one of the lead actors for 4/20/99, A Story of Columbine.
Yes.
And that is like we mentioned before, a difficult topic. So I kind of want to dive right into that. What compelled you to write about Columbine? Because it is, school shootings are like a affect a lot of people, and it's kind of a hard topic to cover. So what kind of drove you to write about it?
So I've been involved in theater all my life, pretty much. And then in 2016, one of my favorite celebrities was killed via gun violence. And that was the first time in my life where I was like, whoa, this is a thing that happens all the time. So that's when I started to pay attention to it a lot more because it felt a bit personal. And then in 2017, when I was in high school, we were assigned to write a one-act play on any topic in my play productions class. And so as I was struggling to figure out what to write about, at the same time in my sociology class, we were watching Bowling for Columbine.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that would actually be a really cool idea to bring to fruition to write about. And I was already a gun violence activist, so it worked out perfectly. And then 10 of those plays were going to be chosen to be performed at the school. And I was one of those plays that was chosen. And so it debuted at my high school in 2018. And then I kind of put it on the back burner. I was going to come back to it eventually. And then in 2020, 2 of my family friends were killed due to gun violence, a mother and son. And so that was kind of the last motivation that I needed to continue working on this. So I moved to Philadelphia. I turned it into a full 2-hour length show. I moved here in June of 2021, and by July of 2021, it was cast. So I just was right from the get-go ready to go. And it ended almost a year ago now, and then I'm gearing up for the 2024 showing of it now.
Wow. I mean, I always say, I have a lot of independent filmmakers on, and I'm always like, man, just making a movie, even if it's a short film, is an undertaking. You're not only, you've written something that people act out on stage for 2 hours, cast it, acted in it, directed everybody. I mean, that's just a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Costume design, everything.
So, on the topic of like kind of controversy though, how was the reaction? Like, is there, how do people take it?
So, surprisingly enough, everybody who has seen the show in full has had nothing bad to say. It's mostly been from people who haven't seen it that have had a reaction, like whether they see an ad on social media or whether they hear it through the grapevine somehow. I've gotten some emails or direct messages of concern, and rightfully so. It's such a difficult subject matter that I know that not everyone's going to like it, and they have every right to feel that way.
Yeah.
But fortunately enough, people who have seen it have had only nice things to say.
Yeah. And I watched it. And I told Autumn, before, like when I found out what, her project was, I was kind of like, okay. Cause I mean, it's a sad thing. Like my
It's
wife is a
difficult.
high school teacher. I got 2 kids in public school. So it's like, every time I hear about one of these things, I'm like, and I think the latest one that made the big news was in Nashville. Like I'm 15 minutes south of Chattanooga, Tennessee, so it's like,
Oh, wow.
it's like right in our yard, so
Yeah.
and that's not to make it about me, but it feels very
It feels close to
personal.
home, right?
Yeah. It's scary.
It is.
But
And it's really devastating that it's been 23 years since Columbine and not much has changed. Like it's still a reoccurring phenomenon that we're experiencing.
yeah, I do. So I mentioned, I did watch it, and I was, I would say even like, I was very pleasantly surprised. Not nothing against you, but Autumn and I are just meeting for the first time. Believe it or not, everybody, because that's how a lot of these shows go. I meet a lot of people for the first time, but I felt like you handled it with a lot of respect, and I didn't feel like it was exploitative of really like anybody. I mean, it is a tragic event. And it's a piece of art that you're making based on
Right.
that tragic event, but also I didn't think anything was handled in a way that was in poor taste, I guess.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah. No, it's as pleasant as something like that can be. Uh, you achieved it,
Good.
and the fact that you said you were born the year I graduated from high school.
So yeah, I wasn't even alive when Columbine happened.
Holy crap. That's amazing. You gotta meet my sister. She's a real, like, do you read a lot?
Yeah. So I try to.
Okay. She's an avid reader, theater nerd, not,
Oh,
not to,
heck yeah.
not to be derogatory.
No, yes, that's me. 100%. Jesus Christ Superstar shirt, 100% theater nerd.
Yeah. So you guys would get along great, but, I mean, well, okay, back to the play. I guess what was your sort of process for keeping it in a place that was above board? What was, you said you researched a lot, and that shows because you seem to know. I mean, you nailed the music and the aesthetic of an era when you weren't even a glimmer in someone's eye, right?
Right.
So
I was in the womb in 99.
yeah, I mean, how did that all start? Like, how did you
So
start the research?
I have 3 older siblings, and they were all around in the 90s. And so it was when I was growing up, they were still kind of coming out of the 90s aesthetic wise and fashion wise. And so I kind of remember a lot of that happening.
Mm.
And I have like my cousin graduated in 1999. So that was a good source. And at the time that I put it on last year, my roommate had graduated in 95. So I had some good resources around me. And so did people on the show. Some people on the show were also around at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So collectively hearing everyone's thoughts and opinions and researching, I love the 1990s in general. So it wasn't hard to remember like all the music and stuff like that because I'm already it's already an interest of mine.
Sure.
So putting that all together based on everyone's point of views, I wasn't sure if it was going to be accurate or not. I was like, this is what I know. Just see how it goes. And everybody was like, the costumes, the music were spot on. And I was like, oh God, thank God, because I was struggling.
No, it was really good. Nothing seemed out of place. So I have seen Bowling for Columbine. Now I watched it when it came out on DVD, so I don't know how long ago that was, but it
It's
feels
like
like
21 years ago.
a long time. So
Yeah.
I've forgotten, a lot about it, but um how did you get into the and forgive me, it's Dylan Klebold and
Eric Harris.
Eric Harris. How did you sort of get into what they were thinking and all that stuff? Like, I've never looked deeply into this stuff, so I have no idea how much like information is out there.
So when I wrote it for the first time in 2017, I kind of just
Mhm.
did surface level information. I didn't really delve that deep. I kind of just did what was easily accessible. And then it wasn't until 2021 that I began the really rigorous research process. As of now, I've accumulated over 5,000 hours of research to the Columbine case. It
Wow.
overtook my whole life the past few years. Books, movies. Both their journals are published online. I have those and copies of them. I watched a lot of interviews. I talked to some survivors. I've spoken to some parents of some of the victims. A first responder of Columbine is currently one of our biggest sponsors.
Wow.
So it seems that it's touched a lot of people, or at least reached that community. And I'm really grateful that it has. And like I mentioned, I'm not sure if they would like it, but as long as they know that I'm coming from a good place, then that's what matters to me.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, I didn't realize you had direct contact with people that had been directly involved in this whole thing. So, I mean, they're all fairly supportive? I mean, I'm sure some of them don't want to watch it.
So the both of the parents that I've spoken to, one I sent a very long, detailed email to, and the other is interested in seeing it but hasn't followed up with me yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I think it's just honestly probably difficult to look back on, and so
Yeah.
deservedly so. So I mean, if it comes to a time where they feel like they want to watch it, I absolutely would do that, and take any commentary that they have.
That is, yeah. This is deep, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Um,
Okay.
is this the first thing you've done of this magnitude? Like first thing you've written or created to this magnitude? Because it feels like it's, I mean, a lifelong project, and you haven't lived that long. So
Right.
it's like,
Right.
it's very. I'm very impressed.
Thank
Like,
you.
that's amazing.
It's the first. So I directed some shows in high school, but this is the
Mhm.
first time I ever solo directed a show. And
Okay.
then I wasn't supposed to be in it originally. So I started out actually as the other shooter, Eric Harris, because we couldn't find an Eric. And then we found our Eric, and then our Dylan dropped out. So I played both at different times. I did all the rehearsals as Eric, and I performed as Dylan. So it was an interesting phenomena to play both of the shooters and also have personal experience with gun violence. It was an interesting experience.
Yeah. Oh man. So when when you're creating something that's that dark and you're sort of engulfed in it, right? You're acting in it, you're doing everything. I mean, is there some kind of impact on you? Did you find that afterwards you needed to watch an Adam Sandler comedy? You needed to read a happy book. I mean, what were some of the effects on you?
So it was mostly okay. Directing, although the stress of directing was so prominent, I like the mental magnitude of the material didn't really bother me. It's when
Mhm.
I played Dylan that it did. And I didn't really realize that until a few weeks after it ended. There was times like anytime I would scream in the show, like that came from the heart. And like sometimes I'd come off stage crying. Um, and now that I know what I got myself into, I would play him again. But I think at that time I just had so much on my plate and this heinous role, and I had never played a lead role before. So it was a really strong one to start out with that I was just overwhelmed. I'm like, this is a lot at once. And it wasn't even really the massacre that was so, I mean, that's traumatizing in itself, but we had rehearsed the massacre so much that it wasn't like the focal problem for me. It was like the things to him, like him being a teenager, like I've been a teenager, him having depression, like I struggle with depression. It's parts like that that made it too personal. I'm like, this feels too real.
Yeah. And, you know, like any, you know, just if we take all the like the true events out of it, you know, and we just talk about this as a story, like if this were a just whatever, a story you wrote, right? Like everyone has multiple dimensions. It's not just like, you know, the characters all had depth.
Right.
And there was a journey from the beginning to the end, which, you know, they seem to kind of, it gets darker and darker. They seem to sort of erode mentally as it goes along. So I don't know. It's hard to say, yay, entertaining, but
right.
You know,
I mean, there were fun times in the show, and there were times where like we were silly backstage and whatnot, but overall it was a very emotionally and educational journey.
I think only like certain people, and I think it's like maybe theater. There's a difference between like theater actors and like movie actors, right?
That's
like
true.
It's a different muscle, and I think that like theater actors, not that, I don't know, it sounds stupid, but the emotional kind of up and down that y'all go through in the play is I don't know. It's something I don't necessarily see in movies all the time, right? Like, and my sister, like I said, theater nerd, done hundreds of plays and everything. You know, I've watched a bunch of them. She can go from 0 to 60 emotionally. Like, I can't do that. You know, if I go there real dark, I'm going to stay there for a while. All right. And she's,
see, and for me, it was like, now that I know what to expect, like I said, from playing Dylan, I would love to do it again, because now it's like, okay, if I can have some of the responsibility of some of the other things I had to do off of my plate, then I could go at this with full force. But I only had 3 weeks to prepare as Dylan. I had 90 pages to memorize in 3 weeks and get all the costumes in my size. So I don't feel like I put in my all that I.
Oops.
What happened? Oh no.
I lost you. You
I don't know what
disappeared for a
happened.
minute.
Sorry.
You were just like, I got the costume and gone.
Got him back. So yeah, now that I will have more help next time. So now that I have more of a support system next time behind the scenes, I feel like I can take this on. I'm like, I can do it better. I'm like, that was not my best. I can definitely nail it out of the park.
Yeah, no, look, you may be too tough on yourself. I thought you did a great job. So
thank you. Look, I guess maybe it's because we're our own worst critic that looking back, I'm like, I could have done that better.
No, that's 100% true. Like any creative person, like is good. Well, I mean, it's a tendency of like humans in general, but like especially creative people tend to like way overanalyze their own performance in anything. Like, I didn't type fast enough. I didn't pick the trash up. You know, it's everything. So,
right.
You know, just sometimes you got to stand back and go, hey, there's a bunch of people telling me I did a good job. Maybe they're not blowing smoke up my ass. You know, that kind of thing.
This is true. This is true.
So what's next? You guys are starting up a new run of this, right?
So, yes, July of 2024, entirely new cast, definitely completely new town.
Yeah.
This time I'm gonna bring it back to Salt Lake City, Utah. So that's where it originally debuted in 2018. Was there? That's where I graduated from high school, and so I will be there for a few months directing it next summer. Some people have already signed on, so I haven't held auditions yet, but like some people from high school are already interested.
Cool.
So super stoked. I This year off I think was really needed. I wanted to jump right in again, but I'm like, I think I need to be in a better place, and I think I've learned a lot this year off. So I'm ready. I'm ready.
That's good. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're making something, you're doing something. You need every once in a while you need a rest.
Right.
Like to really like recharge your battery. So I get that. Well, that is. I feel like weird trying to segue.
It's okay.
It's very. Oh, I didn't even run the ticker. Oh my gosh, bad host. Tonight's guest. There you go, guys.
Thanks. It's okay. I forgot about it too.
Well, let me ask you a personal question.
Okay, shoot.
Do you like t-shirts?
Yeah, sure.
Do you like horror movies?
Yes.
So I do too, and I have a sponsor called Fright Rags.
Okay.
And everybody watching, you guys can go out to fright-rags.com and use code SpookyDudes10 at checkout for 10% off your order. And this is very awkward, but you can still save 10%. So, I've never had anyone on and had to talk about anything this serious. I'm just like, okay. I don't know what to say.
No, you're fine. I'm good. I'm chilling.
But go get those shirts, guys, for real.
Yeah,
and lounge pants. 10% off. You can't beat it. Okay.
Go get them.
Are you ready for the other questions?
Yes.
Okay. These are fun questions.
Okay, sure.
Mostly. There's a couple little like controversial ones, but it's nothing like we've been dark. We can
I'm fine.
Yeah, I think you can handle things better than I can. I'm over here. It's like, all right, easy one. What got you into horror?
So, okay, this is kind of fun. So my mom is one of Stephen King's biggest fans, completely. And so growing up, all I watched was Stephen King and Tim Burton movies.
Wow.
So I didn't really watch a lot of Disney Pixar growing up. It was mostly my mom was like, "Oh, you can sit through this? Okay, then that's all we're watching. Like that's all I watch. So that's all we're watching if you can sit through it."
Tested the waters. It was just like, nope, we're in.
It was like, yep, first one done. So my entire life, essentially. I got the pleasure to see Stephen King speak live at a high school in 2016. I didn't get to meet him, but seeing him in the same room was really surreal.
Yeah.
And I also got to meet Lorraine Warren before she passed away, of the Conjuring movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that she was such a sweetheart. She lived a long life, but I was fortunate enough to see her before she passed. So that was really a really incredible experience. But kind of all types of horror. I haven't seen a lot of the slasher films, surprisingly enough, but like demonic movies, I'm cool with. Jump scares, fine.
Okay, you mentioned Lorraine Warren. What are your thoughts on like paranormal investigations and all that stuff?
Religion-wise aside, I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. I loved Ghost Adventures. I wanted to be Zach Bagans, and I was him for Halloween when I was like 12. That was it for me. That was when I peaked.
I can't hang with Zach. Oh
no. That was when I peaked. I was obsessed with it when I was a kid, and now I'm like, I don't know. If I went with a group, sure, but if I was by myself, ain't no way.
Well, hold on. Okay, hold on. We got
okay.
So if you were by yourself, no way, because you think something's going to happen, or just because you would. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm high key scared of the dark.
Okay.
So I think I'd be too scared.
Okay, I got you.
I know I can write about Columbine, but the dark, done.
Yeah. We have two very different definitions of dark.
Right.
Okay. first horror film you can remember watching?
Oh, probably The Mist.
Oh my God. Dark again. Man, the ending of that movie is
Oh, awful ending.
brutal.
Awful ending.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
I watched that movie with my dad and a couple of friends in our living room when I lived at my parents' house. And just, we would just kick back and watch movies on the couch and barbecue or whatever. And just sitting there watching it, and the ending happened, and I just got up. I didn't say a word to anybody. I just walked down to my room, covered myself up, and went to sleep.
The ending was awful.
I could not handle it.
Terrible ending.
Stephen King said it was a better ending than his book, though.
I haven't read the book, but I'm sure my mom has.
I think the ending of the book is not nearly as dark. But
yeah, that was probably the worst ending I've ever seen.
You think like worst as in impactful, or like you think it was like actually bad?
Like it made me so mad.
Yeah, it's
it made me mad.
It's brutal. It's
yeah.
Brutal. Okay, favorite subgenre of horror?
Paranormal. Demonic. One of those, both.
Ghosts and or demons.
Yeah.
Okay. Least favorite subgenre of horror?
This is hit or miss for me, but gore. Like I love Saw, but if it's like a ton of inside stuff.
Oh, like guts and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not
depends how far we go with it.
Sure. Like have you seen Dead Alive?
I haven't, no.
Peter Jackson movie. Like it's very gory, but it's also like very funny. Like it's not like it's disgusting. It has literally one of the most disgusting moments I've ever seen in a movie, and I actually kind of retch when I watched that moment. But it's so much gore that it's comical. Like it's and we're talking about Peter Jackson that made the Lord of the Rings movies.
Right.
This is not a dude that doesn't know how to make a movie. Yeah, before Lord of the Rings, he was he made a bunch of really gory horror comedies.
Oh wow.
Dead Alive surprising. And Meet the Feebles, I think. Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah. But yeah, some of the gore stuff just gets a little much. Like
yeah. Like I haven't seen The Terrifier, but I've heard it's really gory.
It's pretty gory. Yeah.
Haven't seen it. I might, but it's just like it depends. Like if we're really like disemboweling people, like I'm good.
Yeah, see that's what I was mentioning to you before. Like I'm not gonna say every movie I watch like never crosses a line and makes me like uncomfortable, but typically if I know it's like I would rather see it faked than like listen to someone talk about the real event. I listened to Sword and Scale for a while because like I said, my wife's a big true crime nut. And she's like, "Oh, I'm listening to the Sword and Scale show." And this before
I'm still here, but I'm just gonna grab my charger really quick.
Oh yeah,
I'm
go for
listening.
It. Okay. But I listened to that for a while and I got really depressed. Like
I actually really haven't heard of that. So something that I've come across with true crime is that sometimes it seems like people don't view it as real, which is not good.
No, I couldn't not view it as real, right? Like I couldn't. It's like
right, and that's how I am too.
Like, so when you were born, like was kind of the, 3 or 4 years after everybody had internet access, right? Like I remember getting internet when I was like 15 or no, it's maybe a little younger than that, but like
we had like one of those heavy PCs in my house growing up.
Yep. And that one of the first things people wanted to I mean, of course, porn, like people, porn had to get out there, but like one of the first things people were doing was like rotten.com and these websites would show like real deaths and stuff like that. And I was
like Cannibal Cafe, stuff like that.
Shit like that. Yeah. I was like, this is not for me. Like don't
or like Best Horror or whatever.
Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff like that. The first one I remember was Rotten.
I don't know that one, but I've heard of like Best Gore and like Cannibal Cafe and stuff like that.
Well, Rotten was very old. It's probably by the time you were messing around on the internet is probably like completely gone. But I just remember it, and that was probably tame compared to what people are putting out
Oh
there
yeah,
now.
I mean, yeah, nothing is really hard to find now.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
so as long as I know it's fake, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, all right. I hope you can answer this one.
Okay, I'm ready.
What's a VHS cover you remember from the video store?
No, I actually Blockbuster was around until I was in 6th grade, so I do remember this.
Okay, perfect.
We had so many VHS tapes of Goosebumps episodes.
Yeah,
We had a lot of those. So probably that. If you're staying with the spooky theme, Goosebumps.
yeah. I've still got some Goosebumps DVDs.
I think my
Still
mom
good.
still has the VHS ones. Honestly, we don't even have a VCR anymore, but she still has them.
There's an amazing like resurgence of VHS collectors, by the way. I don't know if you've seen this. Like, I mean, people will pay. I mean, I don't know what the Goosebumps are worth. Probably not much. But like the rare stuff, like these really big boxes and
Wow.
old like Herschel Gordon Lewis movies and stuff like that. I mean, people will sell these old beat up tapes for $100. Like,
Wow, I have a lot of episodes of The Crocodile Hunter on VHS. Maybe those would go for something.
maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Depends on how many were made and like how many are still around. But
That's
like,
probably true.
All right. What is your favorite type of physical media?
Like social media?
No, like
like movie
tapes or DVDs, Blu-rays, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I collect DVDs.
Okay. I still buy DVDs, yeah.
Me too.
So you automatically answered the next question, which is, do you still collect and watch movies on physical media?
Yeah. I currently don't have my DVD player set up, but I have like 150 DVDs in my closet.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot. I just haven't. I moved here 2 years ago, and I know that's not an excuse because it's 2 years ago, but I still haven't set it up yet.
I bought this house 4 years ago, and we're not going to talk about how many DVDs I have.
Fair enough.
Let's just say they're in multiple rooms in multiple spots.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
All right. Now we get into the controversial questions.
Okay.
This one, I don't know how I think it's a little bit controversial because I get different reactions out of it. But big buzz on social media is AI generated art.
Okay.
How do you feel about it? Like, what does it pose a threat to artists? How do you feel about this new trend and this new tool we have?
I've never tried it, and I don't know if I know enough about it to have an opinion. Yeah, I don't really know if I know enough to know.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I've had people on here that are like, I hate that shit. And then people, I'm going to give them a shout out. Hi, John Devlin, who is a filmmaker and also makes AI art for fun. Like, he's just doing it for fun.
I've seen people do it on like TikTok and like transform themselves, but I feel like it's just starting to get really big, like the Snapchat AI generator and such. I don't know if I know enough about like the lore of AI and like the history of it to really know, but I'm sure I can see why people are concerned.
Yeah. I think that for me personally, I think the concern is when people, like say they take your promotional stills or some of your artwork from your show and start feeding it in there, and then they make some kind of product with it and then they sell it.
Yeah, that's not good.
Are you entitled to that, a share of the royalties, or are they entitled to it because they just fed it into a machine?
I think art wise is difficult, but I know writing wise, I'm not too concerned because I own all the rights to my show, but I don't own any of the art because the art was not made by me. So yeah, right. That would be tricky.
Yeah. There was a good point brought up in one episode where we were talking about the AI thing though. And there's hundreds, if not thousands of movies we'll never get to see. Right. There's London After Midnight with Lon Chaney Sr. That movie, there's no copies of it. It's gone.
Hmm.
You know, we can see publicity stills and poster art and stuff like that, but the movie, you know, I'll burn up in a vault or something. So we'll never get to watch that movie. What if you could feed that the plot synopsis in there, or the script, or the, you know, some visuals that they released, and then pump that movie out? That would be exciting, but it's also like,
How
where,
accurate is it going to be, though? You know, if we
who
can't
know,
see it.
who knows? And you know, where does it end? That's kind of the problem for me, is like, when does it become not okay what you're doing with the AI? You know.
That's fair.
All right, next one. This one, not about AI at all. What are your thoughts on kind of, let's just throw the word out, like the term out there, the cancel culture? What are your thoughts on like canceling specifically a movie, or I mean, even a play, because of the behavior of somebody who worked on it? And I mean like cancel as in like just picketing and, you know, kind of blasting people if they're.
I think it really depends what it is. So
Sure.
can I start with people? Like what I think about cancel culture when it comes to people, because I can kind of segue that.
Sure.
Okay. So I think if someone did something illegal, like there's evidence and proof that they did something illegal, then yeah, I think that they need to face the consequences of their action. But, and this might be controversial to say, but if they did something when they were a kid, like really young, and they've learned from their mistakes, I think that they have the right to be forgiven, unless it was something that was illegal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you. Like, there has to be, there's a line, right? And once the line is crossed to some degree, it's like you said, like you got to deal with it. But there has to also be some sort of like.
But for movie wise, though, like for instance, when everyone was trying to cancel the Fantastic Beasts movie because of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard issue,
Yeah.
I think that that's really unfair to the other people who have put in all that work into that movie that aren't Johnny Depp and, I mean, Amber Heard wasn't in it, but that aren't Johnny Depp. Like Eddie Redmayne and everyone else probably put in so much work into that movie that to have it taken away from them because of a controversy is, I don't think is necessarily fair.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it takes a village to make a movie. It's not,
Right.
it's not one dude. But to your point, there needs to be some kind of, see, here I go. My brain just forgot the word, but like some path back to to right. You know what I'm saying? Like a path
for sure.
to redemption, right? Like or else what reason would people have to correct their actions? Now I know, like, you know, the like Harvey Weinstein thing.
Oh yeah.
That's terrible.
Right.
Victor Salva, the guy that made Jeepers Creepers. I bring him up every episode. I need to stop. But what he did, terrible. Like, but you know, if you did some stupid, goofy stuff and learned from your mistake and came out and tried to make it right, I think that's
the key word. I think if you learn from it and you're actively trying to be better, then I think you deserve a second chance.
Yeah.
But if you don't believe you did anything wrong, then I think you deserve to be canceled.
You're a sociopath at that point. And I'm fine with whatever whatever cancellation happens.
Right.
Okay.
So that makes sense. That was like a lot of once, but I hope that made sense.
No, what you said made sense. I thought it was a good take.
Okay.
I mean, there's no wrong answer, period. Like you could just be like, you know, F them. They effed up. You know what? It's up to you. I'm not here to. This is a judgment-free zone. It's Planet Fitness here.
I appreciate it. That's where I go.
I used to. I don't know why I stopped. I don't know if it was like COVID freaked me out or what. But I just work out at home now. I do yoga.
Oh, nice.
Occasionally do dumbbell stuff with my wife. She works out a lot.
That's fun.
Yeah. That's a complete side note. Okay, back to the question. No more controversial questions, I don't think.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on bootlegging of out of print titles?
I might need some more context with that.
Okay, so
I know what bootlegging is, but out of context titles, like what does that mean?
So there are movies like did you see Barbarian that came out last year?
Mm-mm.
You should. It's great.
Okay.
By the way. It's not It's a little gory.
That's all right. I could probably handle that.
And it's got Justin Long and
Oh, I like him.
he's great. You may not love him so much in this one, but he's
He's a
funny
good
in
actor.
it. But and the guy that played Pennywise,
Oh, Bill Skarsgård. Is that who that is?
Yes,
Because he's got a brother. I'm like, did I get them mixed up?
not the one from True Blood,
Right,
but
the other Skars. I think it's Bill Skarsgård.
I think it's Bill. I think
Alex
it's Bill.
is the other one. I think.
Maybe, I don't
Something
know.
like that.
I'm confused at this point. Oh, but anyway, he's in it too. It's very good. But here's the thing. That movie will never get a Blu-ray release, apparently. Like, they're never going to press discs of it. They put it out on one of the streaming things, and they're just like, cool, man, everybody go watch it, and we're never making a Blu-ray. So there's bootleggers that make this movie on Blu-ray and are selling it.
Oh, wow.
Now that's a different example, but there's movies like that are older. So Fright Night Part 2, okay? It came out, it was in the video store. I don't think they ever made a DVD or a Blu-ray of it. It's out of print. You cannot buy that movie officially anywhere. So the only place you're going to find it is from a bootlegger, or maybe on YouTube. I don't know. So the only way to see it is basically to illegally purchase it. What are your thoughts on that as an artist yourself?
If somebody was selling my show without telling me, yeah, that's not right. Especially to not get any of the profits from it. I'm assuming they're not getting any of the profits. The original creators.
Correct. Yes, that's correct. They would, I think some of it, and there's like different reasons too, right? Like, I don't know why Barbarian is not going to come out on disc, but like the old movies like Fright Night Part 2, I think it's a rights problem. Like, it's tied up in some legal battle between different film distributors, and so they'll just never release it. But if you go to any horror convention, it's going to be on a rack for $10 with like a crappy printed cover.
Yeah, that's definitely bootlegging, so obviously it's illegal. I haven't heard a lot of people doing that with movies. I'm sure they do, but I've heard a lot with plays, with people recording Broadway plays and uploading them. That's definitely a thing that people do. So,
let me silence my phone. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
They do that a lot with plays, though.
Yeah, Broadway plays. Yeah.
Huh? How do you even get a good shot of the play without them knowing?
You don't. So people will upload clips on social media of like a Broadway play that they filmed, and they'll be like, I got all this footage. And I'm like, congratulations, you just outed yourself as recording this illegally.
Is this just for like clout? I mean, it's
just to be like, for people who can't see it, who are like, does anybody have any footage of it? I want to see it so bad.
It's not, there's no way you get the same experience like as sitting in the crowd. So that's weird, man.
Yeah. My show was filmed like with my permission, but I feel like even watching that video versus being in the audience is a completely different experience.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, the camera can't pick up what your eyes do.
Right. And
unless you have some amazing
all the time.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, that is the hardest stance I've heard against bootlegging so far. So I appreciate it. I'm with you. My take is like, if there's no other way to see it, I would rather, and the play aside, like just a movie, right?
Right.
Like, I'm never for taking money out of the pocket of an artist or anything like that. But like, if there's this movie that was put out by like Paramount in the 70s, and
I think that's more understandable. Yeah.
There's like no way to watch it. I would rather it be gray market, black market than like,
I think that's more understandable
Lost.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's like a movie, like you said, that I have no idea what's going on with my Wi-Fi. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. What? It's all right. No, it's cool because I just stopped talking. I was like, cool. I'll edit it later. The live thing, I end up editing it anyway, so it's no big deal.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
No worries.
Bootlegging, right?
Yeah.
If it's a movie that came out last year, then that's iffy. But if, like you said,
Yeah.
there's no way to watch something, then and it came out decades ago, that's more understandable.
And don't bootleg indie stuff unless the filmmaker tells you to. So
What he said.
they're not going to tell you to, but they're going to ask you to buy a DVD, and please do it.
Yes, support small artists.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, now I don't think there's okay. That one was a little controversial. No more controversy. Your
Okay.
favorite costume or mask or prop from a horror film?
Ooh.
People struggle with this one. I thought this was a
Yeah.
softball, and like everybody sits
No.
there going, huh, I don't know.
I have no idea. That's crazy. Wow.
Well, I had to expand it
I
because at
don't
first it was
know.
just like mask. I was just like, your favorite mask. And then everybody's like, what about a costume? I'm like, okay. What about a prop? I'm like, okay.
I'm sure like the moment that we end it, I'll think of one. But
It'll just pop right in your head. Yeah.
like a few that I could think of, no, I don't even think that's my favorite. I don't know. Like,
Maybe
wow.
the first thing you thought of is your favorite.
The first one I thought of is, so this movie is okay, but Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, the costumes that Jeremy Renner and the actress who plays Gretel wear, those are kind of badass. They're probably not my favorite, but the weapons that they have are super cool. So
I have not watched that movie. I've never seen it actually.
you would like it. It's
Okay.
It's creepy, but it's good.
Okay. There's an early Jeremy Renner movie called Brotherhood of the Wolf. Have you seen that?
I haven't, no.
Oh my God. I think it's all in French, but subtitled. It's
Okay.
about werewolves and like, him and this other dude are like these badass fighting hunter guys. And it's,
Oh, I will say this just randomly came to me. I don't mean to cut you off.
sure. No.
I thought that Evan Peters' costumes in Dahmer were wow. Like that was as authentic as you can get.
We haven't watched that one yet. We watched,
It's very good.
speaking of Jeremy Renner, we watched Dahmer.
His Dahmer movie.
And then we watched My Friend Dahmer,
which was also really good.
which is very good. Yeah. But we didn't watch the new one yet.
The new one is hard to watch sometimes, but
Is
it's I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to check it out. I just have to pace myself with those things. That
Yeah.
My Friend Dahmer didn't
No.
it didn't bug me too much because it felt like
right
a
before
different
everything too.
Yeah, it felt like a different kind of take. And
But Dahmer goes right into it, like first episode, no hesitation. So it's a lot to. I think I didn't watch it all at once. I had to watch a little bit at a time, but it's very well done.
we're watching different, still dark, but on a different level. We're watching the Surviving R. Kelly documentary.
Oh yeah.
That's brutal.
Oh, I bet.
Oh my God.
I bet.
Hey, man, I Believe I Can Fly is a great song, but that dude is a straight up
Messed up.
scumbag.
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
All right, back to horror. Name 3 films that every horror fan should see.
1408.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's my favorite ever
Stephen King.
of all time. So 1408. Okay, this one is probably the only movie that truly disturbed me. Hereditary.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That was nuclear.
I love that movie.
I watched it with my mom and I went into it not knowing what it was about. And everyone was like, it's so disturbing. And I'm like, I'll be the judge of that. So now I got to see it. So I did. And then my mom was like, why did you make me watch this? And I was like, I didn't know what it was about. Like, this is crazy. So, but the acting in that is superb. Like, it's so good that I don't know if I'd ever watch it again, but it's, wow. Tony Collette blew me away. Absolutely.
That's good. Ari Aster is he seems like a very troubled filmmaker.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Very dark.
Yeah.
All right.
If you have the stomach for Hereditary.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
1408, and this is so like such a basic answer, but The Conjuring. But the second one specifically, the second one's the best one.
Second one's the one that introduces the nun, right?
Yeah, that's where they go to
Mm.
England.
Valak.
Valak, yeah.
Yeah. And it has that scene on the wardrobe, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the first one.
Or is that the first? I can't.
That's the first one.
I liked them, but I couldn't tell you the difference at this point.
I just watched them so many times that I'm like, this is this one.
Okay. But no, those are good picks. I mean, that's pretty varied.
Yeah.
All right, this is a fun question. It's totally out of season for now, but 2 movies that you specifically think are good to watch during the Halloween season, kind of get you in the Halloween mood.
Okay. Zombieland.
Okay, that's fun.
Yes. I don't know what the other one would be. I'm trying to think of like songs that are Halloween that relate to any movies. I guess like It or any Stephen King, really. It Chapter 2, really, I saw that like 6 times in theaters, so I guess that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought the second one was amazing.
I thought I really liked the Andy Machete It. I can't even take it and split it in half. I'm just like, it's just one big
And I've
movie,
seen the Tim Curry one, and I think it's really good for the time, but
Yeah.
I think the Andy Machetes are so much darker.
They are, I'm glad you brought this up, and you have a completely different perspective on it because you are so much younger than me. So when the first Andy Machete It came out, watching it as a kid on 2 giant VHS tapes or whatever terrified me, right? Super scary. And then the spider thing, kind of was like, oh, whatever. It got less scary signinically. And then the new It came out, and I watched it and I was blown away. I was like, man, it's great. That old miniseries was hot garbage, and I kept going around just shit talking it. But then I went and bought it and we watched it again. I was like, no, it's actually great. Like it's I don't think it's
Chapter 2 was really it for me.
Yeah.
I don't just came out a few years ago.
Oh yeah, no. Chapter 2 was very good too. But like that miniseries, like it was way better than I gave it credit for. Like
I don't know. Like I rewatched it recently, as in like during quarantine, and my mom told me that when they came out, they were like that was it. Oh, I thought of another movie to watch during Halloween.
Okay.
The original Exorcist.
Okay.
I think that still lives up to today, honestly.
People are still very afraid of it.
Yeah, I know some people who won't even watch it again.
Yeah.
But I think it lives up a lot to today. Like I think some of the special effects, I don't even know how they did some of them.
That was Dick Miller. No. Man, I'm losing my horror buff cred here. I think
1970 something, right?
Yeah, the special effects in that movie I think were done by Dick Miller.
I tend to bounce around all over the place. I apologize.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Back to what we were talking about.
Back to the thing. All right.
I don't know where we were before Halloween movie. I apologize.
No, that's fine. Now it's gonna drive me nuts.
Now we gotta look it up.
What?
Who is it? Is it who you thought it was?
I mean, it's not right what it says on this website. Maybe it wasn't him.
Oh no. It might not be.
Anyway, I don't know. It says it's a French dude.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I lose points. Not that we were keeping up with
It's okay.
All right.
I'm so scatterbrained. It's okay.
this is my last one here. This is the heavy one. So, what advice would you give an up and coming artist? I was in your case, I guess someone who wants to write, direct, or act in plays. What advice would you give them if they're just starting out?
Wow. I think this is a generic answer, but it's true. Be prepared for a lot of criticism. Like, you really need to be confident in your work, because if you're not confident in your work, then I think a lot of people's words will stray you away from what you want to do. So I think that if you have confidence in what you do and you know that what you're doing is good, then don't let other comments stray you away from doing so. Because I think a lot of people feel like they can't make it or put their dreams aside because they're so worried about what other people think. And it's unfortunate, because I think we have lost a lot of great art due to that reason. So I think if you really just don't care about what other people think, I think that they say personally.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime you put something out for like public consumption, you definitely have to be ready for at least a little bit of pushback. So yeah, no, that's good advice. Well,
off the top of my head, that's what I could think.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I was just wrong. This guy's name is Marcel Vercoutier.
Okay. Period.
I don't know. I've lived all these years thinking that was a different special effects makeup artist, but anyway.
Third time's a charm.
Man. Welcome back. Oh. Now I'm thinking I don't even have the right name, period.
Any update?
No.
Okay. Period.
Now I'm just literally looking up special effects artists, and I don't see anyone named Dick Miller. Maybe I'm
Maybe it's like a Mandela effect or something.
I swear though, I'm gonna be up all night Googling this shit.
Let me know.
I will. All right. Well, everybody out there, thank you for checking this out. And Autumn, tell the audience where they can find your stuff. Even though it's in the ticker, you guys got to watch the ticker too.
So for the show, there's a Facebook, and a Tumblr, and an Instagram. We don't really use our Twitter that much, but all the handles are at A Story of Columbine. We are currently sponsored by the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. So you can check our stuff out on their website as well. And then my socials, all of them are under Hi Lily Bunny, HAILILIBUNNIE. So, and that's public.
Very good. Y'all check it out. Look, I watched the play. I think it's Dick Smith, by the way. Dick Smith.
Okay, Dick Smith.
Miller.
I'm glad we got that covered.
Dick Miller's a great actor. He was in Gremlins. He was in Chopping Mall. He's in like a bunch of Little Shop of Horrors, the old one. He's in basically everything Roger Corman ever did. So anyway, yeah, Dick Smith. I don't know why but I don't think he did. It says he worked on it. Why didn't his name come up when I typed extras?
That's crazy.
Anyway, y'all go check out Autumn's stuff. She's awesome. Thank you, Autumn, for joining me. Had a lot of fun talking to you. And
Thank you, you too.
I didn't know how it was going to go because, like I said, when it comes to true stuff, I'm a little bit of a wuss. But I'm
glad that it wasn't too much.
No, it's really good. It's really good. And I'm gonna tell my sister to follow you too.
Yes.
You guys are like birds of a feather, I think. So
have her hit me up for sure.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Check out Autumn stuff and stay spooky, my dudes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.